Thank you, Apostolos. Good morning to you all. The disadvantage of being the final speaker in a session is that a lot of things have been said already. So you will recognize a lot of things in my presentation. But I still am going to do my presentation because I think I have to add something to all those messages. I actually agree with everything what has been said today. It's always nice to be in Greece, and especially now today, or this week, with this beautiful after summer. It's really very enjoyable, especially as a Dutchman, nice, warm, lukewarm. And I'm also very happy that with this nice weather, that I have my little budget with me for meeting friends. So I always have my budget with me to meet friends, to have a coffee or whatever in a taverne, in the shadow, under a tree. And since I regard you as friends in business, I'm asking Christofoulou to buy a cafe frappé for my budget this time. Do you mind to do that, Christofoulou? No? Okay. Please, thank you. So, I think that's important. You have to keep your friends and you have to spend time with them. My presentation. For some of you, maybe you are not aware what the Green Award Foundation is. I think the most of you are. It's nice compared to the previous presentation I had in the previous sessions that again there is a new Greek ship owner that enrolled to Green Award, Kyklades, so we're very happy with that. But I still am going to tell what a Green Award is. In a nutshell, the scheme, the main pillars on which the ships and ship owners are certified, which ships, and then I swap to stakeholder demands, economical challenges, and collaboration. And that's actually very much in line with what has been said today already. So I go very quick. Long time ago, late 80s, when I worked for the Port of Rotterdam, we had, together with our Ministry of Transport, the idea, how can we pay attention to quality shipping? How can we motivate for quality shipping? And that resulted in the Green Award Foundation, which was launched in 1994 as an international foundation. Voluntarily program, non-profit, and independent. We shared this idea with other ports and with service providers, banks, etc. And they also shared this idea of promoting quality shipping. On the other hand, we found some owners with their ships who like to participate in this program. They actually pay the Green Award Foundation for the services, so we carry out an audit and inspection. In return on compliance, they are granted the Green Award certificate. The ships using the service providers or calling at the ports, they present the certificate, and in return there will be an incentive, a higher or lower incentive. That's the whole philosophy about Green Award. Certification program is based on three main pillars. That's quality, safety, and environment. And you can imagine from the name Green Award, for us, it's the environment that counts. But we think quality and safety, they are absolutely related to achieve the goal of protecting the environment. You cannot do without those. And actually more important is, it's the people on board. It's not, of course, the management is supportive, the management is ashore, but it's the people on board who has to do the job. And that fits very much with what has been said already. With ships, today we certify oil tankers and chemical tankers, dry bulk carriers, and LNG carriers. Carry out an office audit every 3 years, ship inspection annually, and also this year we started with an inland shipping program in Europe, a similar program, although less extensive. But it's very worthwhile, it's taking up, and already 348 barges are certified with a lot of incentives. So that's very interesting that indeed the inland barging is picking up faster than we did since 1994 on seagoing ships. And that's because, as I talked with George this morning, it's because those barges has an effect immediately to the society. They're close to the society. Why this Green Award? Well, we wanted to improve the environment as ports and authorities. We want to reduce incidents with seagoing ships. You know the results, it's also mentioned. Stimulate quality improvement in shipping. Expel substandard shipping, that's our higher goal. We cannot do that alone. We have to do that all together with vetting, port state control, etc. But more importantly is to improve environmental awareness and environmental performance. And finally, to reduce the risk from shipping. That's the idea. I'm not going in detail here, but it's actually what I wanted to talk about, so I'm not going to bother you with that. But this is the main issue I wanted to talk today. Greener ships. We like to see greener ships. We're looking forward to that. And there are so many stakeholders' demands today, as mentioned. It's ports, it's the industry, it are the shippers, it are the charterers. They all have their own demands. And when we talk about stack emissions, for example, stack emissions for a charter means something different than from a port. They all have their own demands in their own way. And because I worked for the Port of Rotterdam before, one of the main elements in Rotterdam is particulate matters and NOx. And why? Because of the societal costs in the Port of Rotterdam. It's proven that the people living in the port area, they're getting sick, and the costs are extremely high. So that has everything to do with corporate social responsibility, and it has everything to do to make your port much more interesting for business. So you have to be clean. This, altogether, this is just a few elements I'm mentioning. This has an enormous effect on shipping. And what I like to say is, and it's very much in line with what everybody is saying, how are we going to cope with this? Today, it looks like there are more and more and more requirements in a very short time frame imposed to the shipping companies to comply with. It's going much and much faster than ever before. Water ballast, I just had a little discussion. Will the water ballast equipment, are we going to manage to do that? Are we going to manage to install that on board of the ships? Is the equipment available? Or even better, is the equipment working? Is it delivering what we want to see? So we have only a few months to go, and then you have to comply. How are we going to deal with this? It's a big problem. Finally, I think when we look to all those things, we also have our economical challenges, which I like to elaborate on. Oh, you're kidding. Let's see. Well, sorry, you better keep it. Yeah, Christophilou, she did a nice job for me. Or actually for you, I promised to use my budget to share with you a café frappé. A café frappé for my budget, for my friends. But unfortunately, she tells me that it's not enough. So, I'm sorry guys, it's not going to happen. You have to buy your own café frappé. Maybe I select a few of you that get a café frappé, but unfortunately, thank you, Christophilou. Thank you. Actually, this visualizes the problem we are dealing with today. Me, as an ex-seafarer, as an ex-employee of the Port of Rotterdam, yes, I would like to see green ships, and the green ships will be there. But, well, they all mention it, and I especially liked the words from George, because indeed it came from his heart. It's really a Wild West at the moment. How are we going to deal with it? But there is good news. The new magazine. If you take the magazine, I got one yesterday and I read it last night. Already in one of the first pages, we're talking about energy efficiency. We talk about measures to reduce shipping emissions, or already more than 1,000 ships complying with the Environmental Ship Index from the port authorities. Also interesting, ICS presses for early IMO study into availability of low sulfur fuel. And so you can go on. Technology, eco-friendly paints could prevent ship hull biofouling. Or this one, Ro-Ro vessel, the ship of the year 2011, Wallenius, with a that's what I call an eco-ship. We had in Mare Forum the discussion, what is an eco-ship? Well, I think this is an eco-ship. It's there. That says something. Also, when we look to those challenges, DNV reveals technology uptake towards 2020 to help you to make your decisions. And actually, you're also actually offering that with your services. Korean Register, I think it is, yeah, becomes the first Asian body to verify the Clean Shipping Index. All kinds of things, all kinds of initiatives that are contradictory or can be contradictory to each other. But it's quite substantial in your magazine, Apostolos. It's quite substantial. So something is happening. Although, if you look to the world fleet, how many ships are there sailing around? 35,000? I don't know. I just give it let's say 35,000. How many so-called eco-ships are sailing around? A few? George, maybe? 5. Now, let's say it are 25. But then still, what are we talking about? Eco-friendly ships. When you look to the economical challenges, well, I'm not going to further in detail, but the charter rates, the freight rates, they are dramatic. They are really dramatic. We have seen already companies going bankrupt or about to go bankrupt. Shipyards are about to go bankrupt. Here we already know that story in Europe, but the story also counts in Asia, in China. Top 10 shipyards, 8 of them don't have an order book. Mind you. So where are we going? On the other hand, yesterday, or no, not yesterday, the 1st of October, there was a news release from Cargill, Carbon War Room, and RightShip. It hit the Financial Times. And Cargill wants to have clean ships. They want to charter clean ships. And they cooperate with Carbon War Room and RightShip with their environmental database. So that's again another challenge. That's again another stakeholder demand. How are we going to cope with that? We think with all those initiatives we have to try to collaborate. When you take the top left-hand logo that relates to this folder, Maritime Singapore Green Initiative. They launched this year their Green Ship Program, Green Port Program, and Green Technology Program. For you as international operators, if I'm allowed to say so, only the Green Port Program could be interesting to you. If you come in with a ship with scrubbers or with a low sulfur fuel, you might be entitled to get an incentive for that when you're staying in Singapore. It's not much, it's only 2,000 Singapore dollars. The Green Ship Program is pure for Singapore flag, but the Green Technology Program is also for Singapore-based companies, but it could have an international relationship. If you come up with a new technology, or with an interesting technology that is implemented, you might be granted 2 million Singapore dollars. So they are not pushing you to do so. That's what I like. They're not pushing you to do so, but they are helping, motivating you to do so. That fits exactly in our Green Award idea. And of course, I have this folder because that I visited them, because I want them to try to collaborate. That's what we try. So there are multiple requirements, it's also said, from ports. Last time I mentioned Los Angeles with their program, again different. Vancouver, Tokyo will come up with something, Hong Kong has something, and even the IAPH, the World Port Climate Initiative, they also have their own ESI, as I just mentioned, and which is in the magazine. We have to find out how we can collaborate together. And we did with the Green Award already, with the IAPH, the International Association of Ports and Harbors. We have the ESI program integrated in the Green Award program, and we even are going possibly to help them to run it further. OCMF SIRE, we use the SIRE program. We have direct access to the SIRE program, and we lift every ship before we audit it, so we can use that information to put less burden on the crew on board of the ship. And then finally, RightShip. There you will see that when you have the Green Award program, you get an extra higher rating in the RightShip program on the vetting part. I heard there is also a link to their environmental part with the Green Award, but I don't know the details now. So we really are focusing on collaboration and trying to reduce the cost finally for the ship owner. Oh, this one. I've shown this sheet last time as well. So we think incentives are essential, especially today. If they are small or big, it doesn't matter. It helps to motivate. The more partners in the program, the better. And finally, I think listening to these initiatives and what's written here, listening to the regulations idea that there are too many regulations, there should be less. Listening to the bad freight market, the dramatic situation we're in, I still think, based on the news reports I mentioned to you, green credentials, how important are they to you? I'm convinced, and I mentioned that also in the Mare Forum, where we met with the dry bulk sector, we had all kinds of nice graphs from Clarksons, from Drury's and bankers and whatsoever. And if you see the forecast, there is only one conclusion, and actually George also said that, and Clay also said that. We are heading to a cold sanitation of the maritime industry. Unfortunately, and it's hard to say, half of you will have a job in the maritime industry, the other half won't. And the same counts for us in the rest of the world. So I think the one having their green credentials, they might stay in business at the end of the time. Thank you very much.